Spider's back for my fourth session.
What are you chanting loud? We want Spiders, CFL's Red Zone.
Hit it.
Spider, Spider, here comes Spiders, CFL's Red Zone. Spider, Spider, here comes Spiders, CFL's Red Zone.
Hit it. In the red zone. In the red zone. How you doing? I'm back. I wasn't going to come back. That was going to be the 3 sessions I just put up. But this will be my 4th one, and then I probably won't be back for some time unless something comes up, okay? But I just want to start by saying something that I just want to thank you again for any views that I get. I really appreciate all of them, and hopefully that you respect, you know, how hard I worked on this project for 4.5 years, and over 5 years now, and Mr. Ambrosi also. That's one of the reasons I think he really admired me in a way, because he really said in an email that you really worked hard on this, and I really thank him for allowing it to be presented to the new CFL Innovation Rules Committee. Also, I want to apologize for the last video where, you know, I looked pretty ragged and had a hoarse throat, and I was really struggling getting through, and it's been a while since I've done, you know, these sets and videos, so I apologize, but I don't do remakes, so just all live takes, just like this one. So I apologize for that, but I try my best, okay? It was tough, 3 back-to-back. Something I want to, before I get into this session, I want to talk about that's very, very disturbing to me. When I was at the Grey Cup game, the last Grey Cup in Calgary with my son, we went to a pub before we went over to McMahon Stadium. We met a couple young generation Bomber fans, and they saw my Spider CFL Red-Zone Rule hat, and they were really interested in my rule, and I gave them a brochure, each of them 2 brochures, and then I ran into them later in the pub before I went over to the stadium, ran into the stadium too, and these brochures here, and they were blown away by my rule and really excited about it and really respectful, and they said, Spider, how are you going to get this out there? How are you going to get this out there? They want me to get this out there. And these are the fans that the CFL needs, really and truly. So, like, I know things are up in the air for the season with the pandemic and all these spikes and everything. Who knows if we're even going to have a new season, and they're in talks with the XFL and so forth. But I thought about what those 2 younger Bomber generation fans said, and I talked to my son, and he said, yeah, help me get it out social media. So I decided, well, maybe I should put up my presentation, you know, somewheres, right? And see, you know, like, I mean, that would be really generous of me to do that, right? But I really think it needs exposure. By the way, it's going to go up this week before the week is out, or first of next week, by the way, and my new brochure as well, and my full new presentation that's going to be presented to the CFL Innovation Rules Committee, because I really think it needs to be exposed. I don't think it should be silenced here, like, really and truly. So I decided to put it, you know, up, my presentation, and to actually expose my CFL Red-Zone Rule on the ridersfans.com. I thought I'd start in Rider Nation. Huge mistake on my part, and it really was hurtful. It blew me away, because when my son was to the when my son and I was to the 2007 Grey Cup in Calgary, in Toronto, where the Riders won, we met a lot of really nice Rider Nation fans. They were really nice people and everything. And that was back then, though. Times have changed since then. And then in 2009, I believe, in Calgary, 13th Man Grey Cup, we met a lot of nice Rider fans too. And some that actually wanted my son's autograph because he played with Sidney Crosby, and he was a captain of the team when they won the Urban Challenge Cup. And he was in Sidney Crosby's first book, Take the Game by Storm. So So they wanted his autograph. It's two of them, two Rider fans wanted his autograph, and they were amazingly nice people. But here's where which was just I just couldn't believe. I just couldn't believe it. I put my CFL Red-Zone Rule up, and my CFL full presentations that's being presented to the CFL Innovation Rules Committee, and you wouldn't believe how it was bashed and how I was attacked and bullied, really bullied. My rule, myself, they even attacked my age. They even attacked Sidney Crosby, because Sidney Crosby, they said something really not nice about Sidney Crosby. And I think they might have also, at the same time, I'd have to double check it, but tried to attack my son too. I think they did that once before when I first went on there. And I didn't go on my CFL Red-Zone Rule, but I sort of threw out a hint, and they were just bashing me, and they're sort of like they were lined up waiting for me to come back, and I never should have went back, and because I was hinting around and giving, and they were saying, what's this new exciting thing you're talking, and I never should have done it. They bashed me, bashed my rule, bashed my presentation, attacked, like almost like verbal criminal assault. It was assault. It was criminal. It was defamation of character. It was like horrible. It was probably the worst bullying I've ever seen, in my lifetime. And I mentioned Steve Armitage. He's a legend. He's a class act legend. So respect. They attacked him. They were attacking me and my rule like you wouldn't believe. Really bashing it. Very, very, like you can't believe it. It was scary. It scared me. Like really and truly, they need to be reported to the police. I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. It's like they're a cult of these horrible. I mean, we had enough hatred and violence in the world as it is, but I mean, and this is what these sites have become. I mean, I remember one time when on 3 Down Nation, the same thing happened when I mentioned something about, do you know about SPYDER S, CFL Red-Zone Rule? And like it was the same type of thing. And I think even Justin Dunk was in on it. Someone told me that he was doing it too, to my rule and to me. And what they did on Rider Nation is unbelievable. What they did to me, how they bashed and how they the hatred, like it was unbelievable. The bullying of my role and my character, myself, and my presentation. It was unbelievable. It was scary, frightening. They were really coming to get me. I mean, it was unbelievable. It was horrible. It was ruthless the hatred, and like the lashing of myself and my role and my work, and and then tearing my rule apart like they did, and they didn't even know anything about it. They didn't even take time, 15 minutes to read about it. The stuff they were saying about my rule, they didn't know anything about it, and they were attacking everything about it, not even knowing it. I mean, I'm the creator. I've worked 5 years on it. You don't think I know my product? And having these bullies attack everything about it, everything, almost every line, and attack me, even attack my hats, my song that I have, like attack my videos. They were bullying me like you wouldn't believe, assaulting me, verbal assault, defamation of character, criminal. Like it was criminal. It was brutal. And like I warned them. I told them, you should. I'll report you to the police, and I just might. And I told him, and I told him, I'm out of here. I'll never be on this site again. I'm going to try to delete everything. And I say, if there's any more, attacks or bully attacks or bashing of my character, my role, and my presentation, I'm gonna report you to the police. It was very violent. It was very violent. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry for. I just can't imagine. I ended saying this too, that because of what my son and I experienced in 2007 Grey Cup and in the 13th Man Grey Cup, the Rider fans we met. I can't imagine the Rider Nation has changed that much, and their people are that awful, and that horrible, and that violent, and that like criminal. Like it's almost they were like criminals. Like it was unbelievable, the attacks on me and my role and my presentation. It was unbelievable. I'm getting really upset about just thinking about it. It's scary. But like I just can't believe, there's no way I can really possibly believe that Saskatchewan, that Rider Nation has turned into these types of people. And because that site is scary, and taught me a lesson. I'll never go on these sites again. I'll never put my rule up or my presentation up or anything about my rule because I'm telling you that we're living in a different world. But I need to tell you that. And as well, there were reporters that I was trying to get my my CFL Red-Zone out, like on an ad, say a prominent sports writer, someone that's recognized and everything. But they're bad too. There was a couple of them, I won't mention your names. And by the way, you people on that rider site that did this to me, you know who you are. You know who you are. These big name reporters, I mean, I'm not saying big name report, but they have a name. I've mentioned their names. You would know who they are. There's actually three of them. They just used me to get information on my CFL Red-Zone Rule and my presentation. And they, did a number on me. Just took it, did nothing. So they were interested in knowing about it and doing an article. They didn't do anything because you know what? It's jealousy because their ego is like so high, and because they didn't come up with it themselves. And there's so much ego out there. Well, guess what? I'm a CFL fan, and I came up with it. And I came up by listening and learning through the survey I did, and in my findings and my data, and listening to all the legitimate complaints that's in my presentation about why they don't watch the CFL and only watch the NFL. And I addressed them and fixed it and come up with my final finished product that took me almost 5 years, over 4.5 years to complete my SPYDER CFL Red-Zone Rule. So I just wanted to get that off my chest. I know it's a very warm day here in Halifax and I'm sweating, but I wanted to get off my chest, and it's just terrible. Really and truly. And they have to tell you that, but I'll tell you one thing. Jamie 9 is not like those reporters that did that to me, and Mr. Vanstone, who did an article actually on my CFL Red-Zone Rule, when I first had it called Inside the Red-Zone Rule in the Leader Post. I mean, I was so impressed at what he did. Too bad I don't have that copy here. I'd show it to you, but like he's a great guy, and I gave him always updated him on any news of my CFL Red-Zone Rule, and he got all my presentations, and he sent an email back and told me to be patient, Mr. Vanstone, with the Leader Post. And I mean, he wrote a fantastic book on the Grey Cup. I mean, 1989, I believe, Grey Cup. I mean, he's a great guy, a really knowledgeable guy, and he just said, be patient with your rule. He said he thought that in some form they would adopt it, if not all. And he said it'd be a lot better than a 10-yard kick. And he's so right, and that's what my CFL Red-Zone Rule comes in, and my CFL Red-Zone Rule kick actually, was part of my CFL Red-Zone Rule. But Jamie 9, I was on a show talking about my CFL Red-Zone Rule. He was really excited. I gave him all my presentations. He wanted to know more news about it. He was really excited about my rule. He said, I went on there once, he said, you got any more news for me, on your CFL Red-Zone Rule? He was really excited about it. He was really positive, respectful. He was amazing. He really motivated, and so did Mr. Vanstone. And Derek Taylor, I gave it to him, and he sent me an email back, and he says, Spider, good luck with it. Good luck with your CFL Red-Zone Rule, your SPYDER CFL Red-Zone Rule. And these are nice people. These are really nice people. And when I get my brochures to Pinball and Clemens down when they were on the Touchdown Atlantic announcement in Halifax, he wanted 4 of them for his people in his office. He wanted 4. He was so respectful. He's a nice person. But I'll tell you, these people were not nice people. They were very, very shabby and very criminal, almost very violent, almost like a cult. It was bad. It was bad. I mean, they need to be reported, seriously. But anyway, I don't want to talk about that anymore because I'm talking 14 minutes on this, and that's going to kill me from my presentation here. So, I mean, I covered all that, I just want to show something that my son did for me. I won't forget because I forgot the last couple times. This is a T-shirt he made. SPYDER S CFL Red-Zone Rule. That's like my banner, complemented by the new compatible CFL Red-Zone kick. So football fans, if you want no more distasteful two-down football stops in the red zone and no more boring, predictable, non-eventful, easy chip shot field goals in the red zone, chant in the red zone. We want SPYDER S CFL Red-Zone Rule. Learn more about SPYDER S CFL Red-Zone Rule on YouTube and on my SPYDER S CFL Red-Zone Rule Facebook page. Okay? So that's like my banner T-shirt. So I wanted to, I should have had it on today. It's a little small. Sometimes a large can be a small. But just let me just look at this, some stuff. It was terrible. It was a criminal. It was very criminal and verbal assault, and definitely defamation of character. What they, what they did to me and like they need to be reported to the police. Okay, and you know who you are. And okay, so let's get into my presentation. Okay, I just want to go over my rule just quickly. Okay, a little bit. I just want to talk to you. I just want to clarify a few things about my rule, okay? My rule, okay, in a nutshell, is so simple. And by the way, the rule is basically there now. The only difference with my CFL Red-Zone Rule is that it's an enforcement rule. Right now in the CFL, they can play exciting CFL three-down football in the red zone and go and score a touchdown on third down. But they don't. Only on the 1 yard line. They go for it on third down in the red zone. They score a touchdown. On the 5, the 4, the 3, and even the 2 yard line, they don't. They kick an easy chip shot field goal. And that's what, those are the two biggest killers of a CFL three-down game. And that's what my CFL Red-Zone Rule, enforcement rule, is going to eliminate completely. And by the way, go on my CFL, when I get it up, by the way, when I get it up, it'll probably be in about 5 days or less. Okay, my SPYDER S CFL Red-Zone Rule full presentation. And there's my CFL Red-Zone Rule field diagram that you're going to be impressed with. But my 10 key super features and benefits are there. And you're going to find a lot, everything you need to know about my presentation and unbelievable numbers. I'm going to get into some of them if I have time in a minute. If not, I'll do another session. But so basically my CFL Red-Zone Rule in a nutshell is that when a CFL team's in the red zone, and if they need the third down to score a touchdown, they'll be playing exciting CFL three-down football with my SPYDER S CFL Red-Zone Rule to score a touchdown. Okay? And if the drama will be unbelievable because it'll create a revigorating defensive plot, because I'll tell you why in a second. Because if they're stopped on third down and they don't score a touchdown, use my SPYDER S CFL Red-Zone Rule enforcement rule, and not forced outside the red zone, they get SPYDER S CFL Red-Zone kick, and I'll get into that in a minute. But if they're forced outside the red zone on third down, okay, and they don't score a touchdown, they don't get SPYDER S CFL Red-Zone Rule kick. And SPYDER S CFL Red-Zone Rule kick, if they maintain possession of the ball and they're stopping third down in the red zone, using my CFL Red-Zone Rule, it's from the 35 and the other 7, that's from 40, 42. That's a challenging kick. And by the way, it's not 4 downs. People saying, well, like, it's so ignorant. They don't know anything about my rule. They didn't even read it. It's not 4 down football. They don't even know what a football down is. A football down is when you could, okay, kick. Okay, it has to be 3 things to be a football down. Kick, run, or throw. My CFL Red-Zone Rule, again, is an enforcement rule. They have to kick it. They can't fake it and go for a touchdown. Why would they fake it and go for a touchdown on the 35 or the 42 yard line with my CFL Red-Zone Rule? Okay? If they fail to score a touchdown in the red zone and still maintain possession of the ball to get my CFL Red-Zone Rule, why would they do that? Like, this is ludicrous. It's that you know how you know what 4 downs is? I'll tell you what 4 downs is. Say all of a sudden the CFL said when they go from 3 to 4 downs. You know what it would be then? In the red zone in the CFL, on third down, if they were stopped, they would go for a touchdown in 4th down, like they do in the NFL. That's 4 down football. My rule's not 4 down football. And if anybody thinks it is, the CFL doesn't think it is. They wouldn't have been even interested in my rule. The commissioner wouldn't, he doesn't think it is, he wouldn't have been interested in my rule. They never even brought that up, not a word. Steve Armitage wouldn't have endorsed my rule. A legend like him in sports, sports legend, he did 27 Grey Cups, he's a sports legend. He knows more about CFL football than any of us. He never said it was 4-down football. He knows it's not 4-down football. The CFL Red-Zone Rule kick was developed. I developed it and named it CFL Red-Zone Rule, CFL Red-Zone kick, because it's a complementary kick, and it's a bonus kick basically, and it's compatible with my CFL Red-Zone Rule. And the reason it was added because when a CFL team is basically playing 2-down football to go down in the red zone to score a touchdown. 2-down football to get down there, to get first downs and get down there. And if they get down there, my CFL Red Zone Rule will stop in 3rd down, and they don't come up with a point. It'll be too unrewarding. So that's why I go with my CFL Red Zone Rule kick or CFL Red Zone kick. Okay, but from the 35, add the 7 from the 40. That's a real challenging kick. It's a really exciting kick. And by the way, the drama in the red zone defensively too. Can you imagine the excitement, not only offensively but defensively? Because a defense can come up with a big play. Okay, when a CFL team needs my 3rd down, they have the SPYDER CFL Red Zone Rule, so they go for it on 3rd down and score a touchdown. And if they're stopped defensively, they prevent a touchdown from being scored. And they push them outside in 3rd down, outside the red zone, they prevent the CFL Red Zone Rule kick. So, I mean, it's an invigorating plot. It's as big defensively in the red zone as it is offensively. I mean, the drama would be unbelievable. And like the diagram with the 20-yard line outlined in red and the 2 20s outlined in red. And the graphics that they could use, okay, on HD TV and TSN, and put sponsorship tags on it, the money they can make up, and like I said, the betting in the red zone. Okay, whether or not they would score my CFL Red Zone Rule if they need 3rd down, or they get stopped, or pushed outside the red zone, or miss a CFL Red Zone Rule kick. They can make a lot of money on my CFL Red Zone Rule. A lot of money. And in merchandise, too. Merchandise. I'll give them, Spiders goes away, it'll just be the CFL Red Zone Rule, CFL Red Zone Rule kick. The merchandise, and the hats, and the paraphernalia, and the sweaters, and everything, the hood, like jacket, everything they could sell. And the logo is very catchy. It is. So, I'm running out of time, but I'm trying my best. But anyway, and also, by the way, no other rules changed. All the same current CFL rules changed with my CFL Red Zone Rule. To say something like, oh, you can't get a first down. Yes, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? They can play with my rule now and go for it in 3rd down. The only difference is they don't have a backup CFL Red Zone kick. That is needed. It's complementary, and it's compatible. It's a great bonus feature to have. You got to have them come up with something. If they're enforced, my CFL Red Zone Rule enforcement rule forces them to go for it in 3rd down to score a touchdown. It's a very important part of my rule, by the way. And yes, I mean, it's the same. All the same rules apply. You can go for a first down. You can go for a touchdown and first and second down too. I mean, people have said that. What is this? What are you going to do? To fumble around and waste downs, and you can only go for a touchdown and 3rd down? I mean, come on. Like, they don't know anything about my rule, and making comments and attacks and running it into the ground. And they don't know a thing about my rule. It's idiotic. It's ridiculous. It's insane. Like, come on, get with the program. It's obvious they don't know anything about football or CFL football, and certainly don't know anything about my CFL Red Zone Rule. Okay, like, I know I'm running out of time. The optional provision part, by the way, just quickly, that part of my rule is also covers any scenarios, by the way, that could arise in the red zone at the end of the game, the last 10, and I'll just read it to you. If a CFL team in offense in the last 10, here's my optional provision part of my opposing CFL Red Zone Rule. That's the title. This is in my full presentation. If a CFL team in offense in the last 10 seconds of the game has the ball in the red zone and stays in the red zone on 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down using my CFL Red-Zone Rule, they will be able to opt to kick a CFL Red Zone kick from the 35-yard line for 3 points to win the game or to tie the game and force it into overtime. The CFL could have it applied to the last 10 seconds of both halves of the game or have it applied to only the last 10 seconds of the game. The optional provision part of my rule would not apply to the current CFL overtime format because there's no clock. But if added, it would cover all possible scenarios that could arise in a CFL game with my rule, making it 100% foolproof. The CFL would have to decide to include it or not. Personally, I would have it included. Okay? Now, on the 18% guarantee, I want to just go over that because they couldn't grasp that. They couldn't grasp any of it, and they knocked everything. They didn't know anything. And by the way, they questioned my numbers. I worked like night and day for 4.5 years on these numbers, and they were all verified, and they're all accurate numbers. All the data, everything in my presentation is accurate and precise and true, all of it. The guaranteed 18%, okay, score, this is 18% more touchdowns scored in the red zone amongst 9 CFL teams for a completed regular CFL season with my SPYDER CFL Red Zone Rule, which Bo Levi Mitchell saw on the brochure when he noticed my CFL Red Zone Rule hat, when I know all about my CFL Red Zone. He zoomed right in on the 18%. He was really blown away by it. And basically what that is, just to go over that, okay, it's based on the percentage of touchdowns scored in the red zone amongst 9 CFL teams in 2017 and 2018, up 54.8% and 54.7%. So it's based on that. So if that percentage stays the same on third down in the red zone, if needed, playing with my CFL Red Zone Rule, okay, there'll be a guaranteed of 18% of more touchdowns scored in the red zone amongst 9 CFL teams for a completed regular CFL season, resulting in 200 more points. Okay, can you imagine? 50 more touchdowns scored, which is unbelievable. Because how you arrive at that is you take the 54.8% and multiply by 33%, and that's where that third down, they're playing with the third down in the red zone, if needed, to score a touchdown with my CFL Red Zone Rule. That equals 18%. And based on increase of one more down, okay, in the red zone, that being the third down if needed, okay,